Okay, folks, July 25th, we are going to continue working on our bug tracker, issue tracker. There is a lab assignment, lab 0503, and we're working our way through it. And we've done a lot of the heavy lifting, as I would call it. Just wiring everything up, front end to the back end and middle, everything, getting it all working in between. And so not that there aren't more hurdles. We will come across more hurdles, but I'd say all the major hurdles um, are covered. Now env.local, here this says go to localhost, or your Google Cloud URL, custom URL. And env.production, and this would be equals Google Cloud custom URL only, right? So in your local, you could go to localhost, and I know maybe some people haven't deployed to Google Cloud, therefore you would use localhost in whatever port you're on. Obviously, if it's not 5000, it might be 5003, what have you. And then update your git ignore. So let's see that we have updated our git ignore. So here is our issue tracker React. And here's my git ignore, and I'm going to search for .env and copy these up. Really, this is for the instructor to have access to your .env files. And so just anything that starts with the .env, go ahead and comment those out on your git ignore. Right, so that's still the case, so we went ahead and did that. Implementing components, we already brought in Bootstrap, we brought in React Router, doing good on that. We got our app up and running, we've got Toastify up and running. We're going to bring in our components as we code them. We've got our auth kind of configured, and we've got it set up to navigate to the bug list when you log in. We've got a log out kind of up and running. We've got a navbar component, and let's just kind of go into my sources components. We do have a navbar component. So just kind of briefly going through these requirements. And these are just navbar classes. You can implement whatever navbar you choose. I'm not going to force you to code a certain particular navbar with any certain colors or any functionality, but use the Bootstrap docs and code whatever navbar is appropriate for you. We have nav links from React Router. We brought in our navbar. We have logging in and logging out. We've got different. So we did a lot of this without even looking at the lab. We're just building it as we've learned. We've got a logout working. A footer. So we don't have a footer component. Not much to a footer as far as what goes in it. So let me go ahead and close that. Let me look. There's my. Oh, we do have a footer component. I forgot. So there's our footer. Okay. And this looks like copyright 2023, all rights reserved. Now here, this looks like some Font Awesome Facebook, Font Awesome Twitter. And what I don't know is if that Font Awesome is working in the current state. So let's npm start. Actually, let me see if I've got React icons before I boot this up. I don't see React icons. So let's bring in React icons. So npm remember, this is the library with all sorts of icons. You got Bootstrap icons and Font Awesome icons and all 15 different libraries of icons. So let's go to our front end. Let's paste in that command. Why that gets clear screen. There we go. Paste it in there. And now we have React icons installed. So now on my footer, let's go ahead and boot this up. npm start. Let's see if those icons are showing up in my footer. Probably they're not. Okay, yeah, no icons down here. So here you can go import Font Awesome beer from React icons Font Awesome and then bring it in as a component. And if I go to the website, all right, React icons FA is our Font Awesome. And then I remember kind of guessing at it last week. So I'd like to know all the icons, and I got to a point. So let's just kind of copy that command. And let's go to our footer. And just do like this. And then let's take that I icon and bring in FA beer just to get it working. And then you've got your beer. Now, FA Facebook, and that maybe is what we're looking for. So the first one was Facebook. So let's do FA Facebook. And there you go. There's your Facebook icon. Twitter has rebranded as of like yesterday to X. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Good idea or not? What do you think?
I think Twitter is a pretty recognizable brand. Seems a
Yeah.
little strange to me to change it, but
Yeah. Musk is a smart fella. In China, he's going over what is it? WeChat, I think, is in China is like the #1 app. And even though I think it's called WeChat, it's a lot more than a chat. It's like your payments, it's your Uber, it's your eBay, it's your PayPal. It's one mega app for everything. And so it's literally like it's like social media, it's all in one. And so I think what he's doing is big picture, and he's trying to build the first mega app in the United States. That's I think that's what he's going for. We'll see if it works, huh?
yeah.
Pretty easy to. FA LinkedIn in. Uh-huh. Okay. And you can code their URLs here. why we're giving a link to google.com, I don't know. But at least these are now the old target of underscore blank, so we actually don't leave. Now, why don't you like that? Using target without rel no referencer, which applies no opener, is a security risk for older browsers. Well, rel equals no refer. Let's try that. No ref double R ER. Got a little reading to do as to what that does. As long as I've been teaching that, today I learned. I've never seen that one before. Cool. So now we go to Facebook. All right. Back to the lab. There's our footer. All right, we've got a navbar component, we've got a footer, we've got a login form. We've already got our login form working. Don't really care about the error and success. If we're just putting everything in, you know, if you want to make an error and success and put your I mean, most websites do that, right? They don't put the error messages in a little pop-up window. Like if you fill out a form and you click submit, they're gonna like keep the error message on the screen. So that does make a little bit more sense. You know, I know yesterday we kind of wired it up so that if you have a successful login or unsuccessful login, it just kind of pops up and goes away. There we go. You know, probably you want that on the screen instead of just popping up and going away. What you would do to do that is to make a couple of state variables to set an error and set success, as we've done before. Now, I'm not worried about this input field component. We're just gonna, okay, email is required and must contain an @ sign. Password is required and must be 8 characters long. Now it says wire up each field to display an error message that if it contains invalid data as shown in the lecture. So we did this, we did a little front end validation, and this was manual validation. So we'll do this again on our login, on our login form. And so we wrote a little custom validation, and this was after our state fields. We said, hey, email error equals, if there's not an email, if that's true, then give the email, or give the error message, email cannot be left blank. Otherwise, if the email doesn't include the @ symbol, now, little thing here, but if you remember your C# class, we used the contains method a lot. You know, if a variable contains, in JavaScript, it's the includes. And so, you know, different function names, but they do the same thing in different languages, right? So C# it's contains, JavaScript is saying, hey, does this variable email include the @ symbol? Question mark. So this is, you know, this is a ternary operator, but we're using it like a if, else if, else if, else if kind of thing. We say email must include an @ sign. Otherwise, the email error is blank, right? So there's your email error, and What we can do is we could just put that inside of a um, little conditional block. Oh, by the way, here's all of our Facebook and all that were commented out. You can bring in those font awesome icons now a little differently. So here's a checkbox, remember me. Close the div, close the form, maybe just down here. We'll say if there's email error, then display that in a paragraph with a text danger. So, part of my learning of React, because it's really interesting, it's like, this is my component, this login form component, and, there's different states. Like, in other words, when does this code run? And it turns out that, a component goes through a loading state, a change state, and an unload state. And so this code kind of runs anytime those states change, anytime this component is loading, anytime this component is changing, or anytime it's unloading. And so this little JavaScript, it's not inside of its own custom function, right? It's just kind of hanging out here inside of login form function component. So I guess it runs at different points, and one of those points being any time the login form, changes. And when we're changing data on a field, this control kind of re-renders, and therefore this error message will rerun. So that code will run there. And so now, if I just kind of refresh, and I leave an empty, well, right off, there you go, email cannot be left blank. And, maybe you want that there when the screen loads. That's currently, notice every time I'm typing a character, as soon as I type that @ character, there we go, it goes away. Which I like it. It's kind of snappy in that sense. I don't know if I want an error there immediately when the page loads. But let's go ahead and do the same thing for password error. Again, if there's not a password, then password cannot be left blank. Otherwise is the length password.length less than 8 ? Password must be at least 8 characters. Otherwise, otherwise, leave it like that. And we'll scroll down and kind of do the same dealy here. Password error and okay. Now again, like we fixed on the lecture, when you refresh this page, notice your credentials go away. So we're gonna save that in inside of local storage. And you know, when I teach this class next time, you know, if that cookie isn't coming through to the client, I gotta, you know, I'd like to troubleshoot that and figure that out. Otherwise, you just keep it out and you don't try and do. There was a library called Cookie Parser, and we did res.cookie on the back end to create a cookie. And for whatever reason, not on the dog walker, but on the issue tracker back end, right? We did if I come up into here and I look at the issue cookie, we did res.cookie auth token, and I can kind of see that coming through on, if I use Postman, I can see my cookie coming through with my auth token in it. In which case, if it was in the cookie, then we wouldn't have to store it in local storage. But for whatever reason, this auth token cookie, I can log in and it would, you know, my login does call this issue auth cookie. So here's my login and here's issue auth cookie. But I'm not seeing it. If I go to the login and I log in, so this is something to troubleshoot, and I think so. Here I am logged in, and if I kind of inspect cookies, it says no cookies here. There's also a way through through here. Let me log out and log back in to kind of watch cookies under the network tab. So this is my response from the server with my token on it. There's all my data. Bring this up. So if I go under headers, response headers, and I look at, see if there's anything in here about cookies. Response headers. Anyways, we have another solution, so it's really not the end of the world. We have a solution for that. So let's React icons. We went ahead and did that. We went ahead and did that. I believe it's JWT underscore decode. We did the request fails. I'm not worried about the spinner. Also add a link to go to the register route in case a user does not have an account yet. So on the login form, let's see, here's our login, here's remember me. Now, maybe we do something with that. There's forgot password. I'm going to comment out here. Instead of forgot password, we'll say register for an account. And so if I go back here and I log out, here's register for an account. And so we need to make another component for registering, and that's pretty much where this lab is going, registerform.js. So let's make that component. If you haven't already, you probably already have. Make all of these JSX files. Okay, there's our register form. Again, I'm kind of changing this up from the input fields. We don't need those. Trying to slim this up a little bit. Okay. Let's make a path to our register form inside of app.js. User register element equals register form. Go ahead and hit enter to bring it in. Close it. Close it. Then now that we have a route to user register on our login form, we need to bring in a link. Import link from React Router DOM. And we refactor this anchor tag as a link tag. Let's see. Oh, there already is a register. Silly me. Right here. Don't have an account register. So I'll just delete that. In fact, we could do something with this remember me. Maybe if we actually get cookies working, maybe we'll come back to that. But here's our anchor tag inside of a paragraph. Kind of bring that onto one line. And so I'll refactor that as a link. Close the link. The href becomes 2 /user/register. Okay, /user/register now. Not exactly what I expected. I expected it to say register form. Register form /user/register /user/register. Okay, gotta fix something here. Oh, I know. I always do this. Return. There we go. There we go. Now you don't have to have any permissions to register, right? So let me glance at, bring in maybe Grant's register form. I think Grant has a register form. That he does. And just kind of glance at, okay, we have some different state variables that we'll bring in. We have to import use state. Cool. Seems to make all that happy. Let's see how it looks as we merge the two. Cool. Sign up. Looks good. Looks like there's a logo bug PNG that logo capital B. My bug works here. Logo bug PNG. Now, does your IntelliSense fill that for you, or?
That might have just been me messing it up.
Okay, right on. I just, just ask. All good. There's our logo bug PNG. Hey, Grant.